Here we are. It's Sunday evening at Oasis Church, 5 o'clock. It's time for church. It's time for training camp. I'm glad you're in the house today. It's going to be a fun day. It's training camp time. We're going to have some interactive things, some competitions, some games, some praise, some worship, and we're going to start off tonight learning how to win on the field. I hope you're ready. God is about to take us over the next couple of months on a journey to teach us through the life of David how to win in every area of our life. Are you ready? Come on, I hope you are. Get up, get ready. It's time. Let's have some church. It's time for training camp. Somebody say with me, winning on the field. Over the next few months, as I've said before, we're going to be ministering on the overarching subject matter, training camp. And training camp, I need you to know, is important because for any athlete who is good or worth his grain in salt, they would tell you the most important time of their career is spent in the months of the off season. You might say off season, OFF season, in the off season. And the off season is the time when there are no games, there are no competitions, there are no races, there are no championships won or lost. It's the off season. Off season. And that got me stirred up because the off season to many teams and players especially is important because this is the time where the master plan is strategically put into motion. The teams that win conquer the off season. And for many of us, if I could just pause right there and just talk directly to where some of us may be, the off season at times really feels off. The off season in your life really feels off. You wish you were in a game. You wish you were on a competition. You wish there was a referee in the ring with you. You wish there were boxing gloves on your, at least if I had gloves on and you had gloves on, I could see the devil that I'm fighting. At least if I had on my track shoes and you had on your track shoes, I could at least see the enemy that I'm racing against. At least if we had on pads and a helmet and we were on a field with a referee, I at least would know that I'm fighting for something. I could see a goal. I can see a score. I can see a time limit that will tell me you only got to hold on for 3 more minutes and 56 seconds before halftime and I get a break. You only got to hold on for another quarter and win or lose or draw, it's going to be over and you get a break. But there's something about the off season that's just off because you can't tell where it's ending. You can't tell where it begins. You can't tell who you're fighting. You can't tell what you're fighting against. You can't tell what's getting ready to happen. You can't proceed and you can't move forward because you feel like you're just stuck because everything around you and everything within you just feels off. Is there anybody that could identify in this introduction of this message today that you felt the off season before in your life? The off season. And what's strategic about the off season, Gabriel, is the off season is the time where the champs learn how to prepare. But for some of us, the off season is the time of our greatest distraction. The time of our off season is the time where we complain the most. The time of our off season is the time where we're in pain the most. The time of our off season is when we're the laziest. The time of our off season is when we act like we still in COVID and you still can't get up, put some clothes on and come out to church. Ain't nobody sneezing or coughing on you. The time in the season is over. The off season is the time of your life where you still act like you can't get it together. The time of the off season is the time when your life is most out of balance. The time of the off season is a time for most of us where we just can't get it together to plan anything. And you get mad because you come out of the off season and somebody else is winning with what you wish you had. But the problem is you didn't have the discipline that they had in their off season. See, while you were exercising any fruit, they were exercising good fruit. You see how I connected the dots. While you were operating with bad fruit and with spoiled fruit, they were working on their patience. They were working on their love. They were working on having self-control. They were working in temperance. They were working in goodness and kindness. While you was tripping out and losing your mind. Every time something happened, you lost it. Car breakdown, you lost it. Mortgage man called for extra money, you lost it. AC unit goes down, you lose it. Somebody gets sick, you lose it. Everything happens to you and you can't do anything to control yourself. It's how we mishandle the off season. Let me tell you some things that happen that are crucial in the off season. This helping anybody? Watch this. So in the off season of an NFL franchise, DeJuan, I showed Cowboys highlights, by the way, as well. I don't know if you saw that, but I wanted to be fair. And I showed it first. I ended with us, but hey, first shall be last and the last. I'm prophesying. Watch this. In the NFL offseason, players are re-signed or released. Free agents are decided upon. The draft happens and rookies get an opportunity. Coaches and scouts meet, strategize, they move, and they are hired, and they're elevated, and they're even fired. Front offices, as we experienced, the Commanders, we got a new owner. They cleared out, changing front office. All these type of things happen. Stadiums are fixed and renovations to complexes start happening. All of this stuff happens during the off season. You go a little deeper and plans and processes start happening. Playbooks start getting created and sent out. Implementation starts happening. Meetings and positional meetings start happening. Team and personal development time periods start happening. Strength and conditioning starts happening, where you start coming back to facility and the only thing you come back for is to work out, to get strong, to flex, to get limber, to grow, to eat the protein, to drink the protein, to do whatever you do to build as a team. Rehab and therapy begins to happen. So for those who were hurt, for those who were nursing injuries in the off seasons, when they come back to give you your strength, they come back to put strength in your ligaments and in your joints and broken bones and spaces of your life. Practice and study happens in the off season, and then forecasting and predictions happen. Y'all know it. At the beginning of the off season, everybody's saying we got a chance. At the end of the off season, all 32 teams act like they're going to win the Super Bowl, because this is when you strategize, you forecast, and you make your predictions. Somebody say it's in the off season. All of this happens in the off season, and all these things lead you into a space that decides how successful training camp indeed will be. Training camp is the time where the team puts everything together to make a winner. Training camp is a necessary process to get you prepared to win the game of your life. It gets you to be prepared to win the game of your life. So over the next few weeks, we're going to be discussing things like this: forgotten, yet chosen. Anointed to win. Clean heart. The fight is fixed. And prayer works, decrees, and declarations. Now, in between there, God may add some more, but that's where we at for right now. For somebody, it's training camp. Training camp. And here's the thing about training camp that makes it so unique. Training camp is process. Training camp, Tawan, is process. And the reality is you cannot rush process in your life. You have to welcome process. See, I got a point for you. When you rush process, you discredit process or skip process, you put your potential and your production at risk. when you rush process, discredit process, or skip process, you put your potential and your production at risk. Bad practice produces bad product. And you want to know how some teams are going to do on the field? Watch how good or how bad their practice is. I'm here to tell you, if a quarterback can't hit a wide receiver in practice, he ain't going to hit him in the game. If the defense can't see the play in practice, they're not going to figure it out in the game. And see, a lot of us take our practice time for granted and want God to just throw us in the field. And the problem is, you ain't ready for the field yet. You're not ready for the game time yet. You're not ready for the lights to come on yet because you ain't got it in practice yet. And if you get it in practice, it'll make the game easy. But a lot of us have unwinnable games because we have no practice. And here it is. Why is practice so important? I'm going to tell you. Because the fruit of the Spirit that is in your life gets tested and stretched in training camp. It don't get tested on the game day. It don't get stretched on game day. It gets tested and it gets tried and it gets stretched in training camp. I got a quote for you today. Can I give it to you? My guy, my main man, Kobe Bryant, rest his soul, said this. He talked about training camp. He said, when you start training camp, you are building the necessary tools to win a championship, and you have to have the patience. He said, when you start training camp, you are building the necessary tools to win, but you have to have patience. Look at somebody and say, you got to have patience. Yeah, see, many may ask why tested and stretched and not tested and built. And it's tested and stretched and not tested and built because this is the time that you need the fruit of the Spirit to be able to stretch and cover every life situation that you're about to walk in. See, most of you want to be built up, but you can't stretch for nothing. And so you're like the wineskin that's already been stretched beyond capacity. And then a new season hits your life and you don't have enough capacity in you to hold what God's trying to give to you because you want to be built up, but you don't want to be stretched out. Let me tell you, it don't feel good to be stretched out. No, it don't feel good to be stretched out. No, it'll wear you out in your mind to be stretched out. It'll wear out your emotions to be stretched out. But I'm here to tell you, look at somebody and say, this stretching is for a reason. I feel like preaching now. Thank you, Jesus. You got to be stretched. You need to have a stretchable spirit. You need to be agile, mobile, and sometimes even hostile. My old coach used to shoot us linebackers out like that. Scooty Ferrara, God bless his soul. He looked at us and he said, linebackers, I need you to be agile. I need y'all to be mobile. And today I need you to be hostile. When you see the ball snap, go get them. When you see the ball snap, stretch to the end and the other end of the field. When you see the ball snap, don't you stop until that whistle blows. But you need to be agile. You need to be mobile and you need to be hostile. I'm trying to prophesy to somebody even now and tell you in this season of your life, you're being stretched like you're being stretched. It's because God is trying to teach you how to be agile. He's trying to teach you how to be mobile. Take your feet out of the cement and the quicksand that you've been standing in, and he's trying to be hostile. Why? Because the kingdom suffers violence, but the violence got to learn how to take some things by force. And I'm here to tell some of you in the onset of this message, I got 17 minutes and 17 seconds left, but some of you have been too passive regarding your deliverance. You've been too passive regarding the seasons and times of your life, and you've been letting the devil time and time again at harvest time come in your field and steal all your fruit, steal all your harvest, steal all your production. And I'm here to tell you, it's time that you fight the devil back with some anger in your spirit. It's time to get hostile because you got to fight to win. Yeah. Many of us have moments where we're trying to get in the game right now. We want to play right now. But my friends, the truth of the matter is you are not good enough for right now. There's some players on the depth chart right now that are considered backups that by the end of camp will be considered starters. That if the season were to start right now, not only would you not see the field, but you wouldn't be in position to get that pay increase that you deserve. See, let me tell you how this thing works. See, you might be a backup now. Come here, Tom Brady, Mr. 5th round, 6th round draft pick. Come here, Mr. Man, sit up here and you get to rack up. What was my man's name that was in there? I can see his face. Old quarterback. Drew Bledsoe. You backing up the great Drew Bledsoe and you riding the pine. You riding the bench. Nobody said a 5th rounder would do anything in the NFL at quarterback. And here you go, Mr. Tom Brady. But all you needed was a little practice, because once you had space and opportunity on the field, you were able to flex and your true potential began to shine. And you had a coach named Belichick that says, I'll get rid of my steady horse in order for me to take a risk on this new science. 7 championships later, you stand there and look at a man that when he got into the league, he was looked at as a paid bench rider. You were a paid insurance policy. You might as well have been called the COVID quarterback, but you did not know that with the right time on the field, with the right time in training camp, you were sitting on millions. And I'm here to tell some of you now, because you won't endure a process, because you want to get on the field so fast, you're skipping time on the field. And because you skip time on the field of becoming, you skip time on the field of sharpening, you skip time on the field of being created, you jump into a game that you're unqualified for and not ready to operate at your greatest potential, and you leave your possible payday of your life on the field. Some of us in this season we're in now know that we're supposed to have more, but you skip the line. Right now equals loss. Right now equals loss. Watch this. The time of plowing in other fields. Here's what it does. It prepares me not to ruin mine.
That's good. That's good.
The time of me plowing in other people's fields is to prepare you not to waste yours. And see, some of us don't even realize the blessing while you was complaining in Babylon. Y'all remember I preached that? You was complaining in captivity. You don't realize that you were given the space to make all your greatest mistakes. You were getting the space to make all your greatest poor decisions. You were given the space to learn, grow, and develop. You were given the space to come and figure out. You left some tracks in their field. You tilled up some soil where you didn't have no harvest on some seasons in their field. And now you get to yours and you can perfect a thing. You can get to yours and you don't have to have a season or a year where you don't have any harvest, a season or a year where you don't have any outcome, a season or a year where you don't bear fruit, because you learned all your lessons while you were in service mode. I got another quote for you. David Goggins says this. He said, boot camp sucks. He says, training for the SEALs sucks. But you know what? That's what makes you good. The true intention of God is for you to learn in the field so you can win on the throne. Yeah. In the field, you learn how to use your weapons. Yeah, you learn your strengths and your weaknesses in the field. You learn what you can do and what you can't do in the field. You allow space to have your pity party while you're in the field. You deal with all your pain, your anxiety, your trauma, your burdens while you're in the field. You find your confidence in the field. You gain resolve and strength, and you discover your why in the field. Yeah, you build your testimony in the field, and a star is made in training camp. So we get back to our text and we see that David has gone to see his brothers and take food to them and check on the leaders and bring the report back to his father. Now remember, we're going to study and see that if you read your Bible, the oil ain't been poured on David yet. He ain't been anointed king in front of his family by the prophet yet. But watch this. You got to look at the words that make stuff come alive. The scripture says that he was also to take a report back to his father. I say that because next week you're going to discover that although his father might have been written down that he was surprised, he should not have been surprised that his son was the one that was chosen, because the report got back. Because the main thing he was supposed to do was check on your brothers and bring me the report from what's happening. What do you think his father did or said when the report came back to him that, Daddy, I killed the giant? So now when you fast forward and they say, bring me your other one, and the oil pours out, his dad probably just went, okay, well, that makes sense. He's been killing giants. What am I trying to say? I'm trying to say if you go through process the right way, God will allow situations to speak for you. You go through process the right way. It's some things you don't have to force. It's some things you don't have to make happen, because along the path of process, along the moments and times of process, you're going to walk into some things that just speak on your behalf. There are going to be some reports that are made about you when you don't know there's a reporter in the room. Look at this text right here. David's brothers. These are the same brothers that we're going to see that weren't chosen by God because their heart really didn't measure up to their outward physique. They're harsh with their little brother. They look at him, he bringing them food. And they say this in verse 29. They say, David says, now what have I done? He said, can I even speak? They turned around and somebody brought it up again. David answered the same way he did before. And then David was overheard and reported to Saul, and Saul the king sent for him. Now here it is. David in his heart truly wants to help. And what we are witnessing in this moment is that the oil that is continuing to flow and build in his life is starting to show up. And I want to teach you something about the anointing here before we go to our last point. You got to be able to know when you see the anointing of a leader. You need to be able to identify when you see the anointing of a fighter. You need to be able to identify the anointing to conquer. Because what you don't want to be is like the brothers who could not see the leader, who could not see the fighter, who could not see the conqueror who was emerging. And sometimes we are brothers to our own lives. There's some seasons of our lives where we don't see the fighter in us. We don't see the conqueror in us. We don't see the leader in us. So we make decisions that take us out of leadership. We make choices that keep us from fighting. And we put ourselves and convince ourselves that we can't take the mountain. But I need you to put your hands on your chest right here before we go to the last part of this message and say, there's a fighter in me. There is a leader in me. And there's a conqueror in me. And here's the thing. You don't need anybody else to see it because you declared it over your own life. You don't need anybody else to speak it over you. You don't need nobody else to prophesy it over you. Nobody else has to give you a self-discovery, because self-discovery is self-discovery. Nobody is discovering the gold that was within you. They are just coming to confirm and agree with what you've already seen about yourself. That's another beautiful part of training camp. You know, I was going back to the field because these players start discovering moves that they can use and things that they've learned how to do that's going to help them on the game of their life. It's going to help them. You ever listen to Tom Brady and you ever listen to Brett Favre, if you ever listen to Aaron Rodgers, they'll tell you about secrets they found out and tendencies that they found out that they could do in practice. And they said, I kept it close. Yeah, I understood. I heard from Patrick Mahomes that the coaches were so intelligent. They were so smart. They were so aware that they let the offense, they let that amazing quarterback draw up a few of his own plays every year. Why? Because they they know that self-discovery, a lot of times, is the most powerful discovery. And some things that Patrick knows he can do, I can't draw up if I wanted to. But some of them Super Bowls were drawn up and won off of plays that were off self-discovery. Some of them wins and touchdowns were plays that were drawn off self-discovery. And I want to challenge you today. How many of you are digging the mind of your own life to find your own goal, or waiting till Sunday to get oil poured on you, prayers prayed on you, cloths laid on you, for you to discover something about you that God wants you to find out about you in process? Tell you something, prayer on the altar is not going to help you avoid process. Sheesh. Here we go. Everybody won't see what's on you. Can I give you two more things? 1 Samuel 17:28. Walking down this story. He says, now when Eliab, David's oldest brother, heard him speaking with the men, he burned with anger at him and said, why have you come down here? And with whom did you leave those, watch this, few sheep in the wilderness? Yeah. And he said, I know how conceited you are, David, and how wicked your heart is. You only came down here to watch the battle and be entertained. And the reality is, his brothers had no idea of who they were looking at. My wife quotes this quote from my mother-in-law, and I love it. She said, I'll show you better than I can tell you. And for some of us, we've been spending too much time on the field in training camp with little tissy fights and running our mouths and pushing and shoving. And you've been wasting valuable reps. You've been wasting reps when you was arguing and fussing with yourself. You should have just lined back up and said, dang it, I missed the ball, but I'm about to snap it again, and I'm going to run this play over. Stop wasting rep time on the field, crying and complaining, fighting and fussing. I don't care if they can't identify what's in you. You can identify what's in yourself, and I release you today under the authority of heaven to show them better than you can tell them. For some of you, you in seasons in your life that they wouldn't believe you if you tattooed it on your chest, but they'll believe the evidence of what happens when you put your money where your mouth has already been. And I'm encouraging somebody to jump to their feet and show somebody what's in you. You got to show somebody what's in you. You got to show somebody what's in you. Everybody won't see it when you say it. But David said, I'm going to show you. They came in and said, you're conceited. You just came out here for entertainment. And David said, oh, you want entertainment? Watch your youngest brother. Watch the smallest of the pack. Watch the least of these. The one that you made fun of with my little sheep off in the wilderness. Who's watching my little sheep? I'm watching my little sheep, because I guarantee you David was one of the smartest shepherd boys you've ever wanted to meet. I guarantee you David did not leave his sheep before clearing the woods and making sure all the predators had already been taken out. I'm talking to you from the book of Richard chapter 1 right now, verse 45. But David is a smart enough shepherd boy that when he wasn't going to leave his precious sheep in order to go fight another giant and not take care of the predator that was around the corner. Y'all heard he could kill lions and he could kill bears. He took out the wolves. He took it all out. Don't you think David didn't take out and clear the land before he left? You dealing with somebody who's a strategic fighter. And I'm speaking about that because I want to speak to somebody that's been swinging in the dark. You've been fighting with shadows. You've been throwing haymakers, but you're inaccurate. You've been throwing launches, and you've been trying to throw kicks, but you've been missing devils. You've been trying to throw and kick walls down, but you've been missing the walls. There is a spirit of accuracy that's going to come upon your life tonight in the name of Jesus. I speak under the authority of the Lord God Almighty and say no more whiffs in this season. No more whiffs in this season, but you shall hit your target in Jesus' name. Michael Jordan said this. I got one more quote here. He says, my attitude going into training camp as a rookie was to impress. He said, I wanted to impress my teammates, my coaches, the owners, everybody. And I wanted them to say, this kid is special. This kid has the right mind, the right skills, and the right motivation. Now, why is that quote important? Well, because some came after him and said that was the wrong mindset. And his rebuttal was, if you don't convince the team will never follow you. And Michael Jordan was such an amazing ball player till even the front office followed what he was doing. They was always looking to see, how's Mike this offseason? What's he need this offseason? What pieces should we put around him this offseason? Phil Jackson created the triangle offense after he encountered the greatness of Michael Jordan. And some may tell you, because they don't understand how to accept greatness on their life, that you're being too conceited and your focus is in the wrong place trying to impress. But I'm not impressing you in order to make you bow down to me. I'm impressing you to make you realize that you better sit here and listen to me, because I got the keys and the authority that's in the room. Come on, somebody in here. I'm trying to teach you how to not be the subject and how to be the king when you walk into certain spaces. Some of y'all walk into certain spaces, and I know you're having a meeting with your supervisor, but when you walk in the atmosphere, your mindset should not be, please, kind sir, may I have some more? But your mindset when you sit down with them should be that lion that begins to roar, that lets that supervisor know that although you may have the position, I got the anointing and authority, and the only reason why your business is still established is because I'm sitting in this room with you right now. I'm putting you on alert. You need me, but I don't need you. That was Mike. So in training camp, I learned myself. I'm rounding for home here. In training camp, I am taught by the Holy Spirit, and every life situation will work for my good. In training camp, I see the spaces in my life where I'm special to God and where I am special to purpose here on this earth. In training camp, I learn proper mindsets, the right skills and disciplines, and I develop the right motivation. Training camp is time in my life where I get to learn me. I build godly confidence. Let's finish off this text here. So David said to Saul, let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine. Your servant will go and fight him. Saul replied, you're not able to go out against this Philistine and fight him. You're only a young man, and he's been a warrior from his youth. The next thing I want to tell you is this. Last two things I'm going to give you is the field will teach you how to step up. Yeah, the field will teach you how to step up. Saul came at David and told David, pretty much tried to put him in his place and say, young man, I appreciate you, but young man, you can't do this one. Nah, man, this man is experienced. He's a giant. You're a little guy with a big heart, but this one ain't for you. This fight ain't for you, man. I want to see you live. I don't want to see you get killed. I can imagine Saul looking at him and having pity, saying, oh man, this dude is amazing. He's got such a great heart. He's so open. He's so honest. He just really wants to get up and go, attaboy. But little guy, go ahead and play. This fight ain't for you. And here's the deal. The field taught David how to step up because he looked Saul back in his face and was daring enough to say, I heard what you're saying, but you ain't hearing what I'm saying. I know you said it's too big for me, but I'm telling you I'm too big for him. And I'd like to ask you tonight, as I take around for home and go to my clothes, I want to ask you, what is the mountain that you've been too scared to speak against? What is the situation that you've been too scared to talk back to? What has been the thing in your life that God has left you on the training field until you learn how to fight it, until you learn how to conquer it, until you learn how to stand up against it, until you learn how to call it by its name? It's been telling you for years you're too small. It's been telling you for years you ain't got enough. It's been telling you for years you're not able. It's been telling you for years you ain't capable. But how many of you are able to stand back and look at the gatekeeper to your purpose, the gatekeeper of your destiny, the one that is keeping you from point A to getting to point C, and look that thing back in the face and say, I know I heard what you said, but you ain't hearing what I'm saying. David said the song, your servant has been keeping his father's sheep. When a lion or a bear came to carry off a sheep from the flock, I went after it and I struck it and I brought it back from its mouth. When it turned on me, I seized it by its hair, I struck it down and I killed it. David said, your servant has killed both the lion and the bear, and this uncircumcised Philistine will be just like one of those because he defied the armies of the Lord. One of the great things about training camp on the field is, yes, you practice against your own teammates, but one thing that I see is when I used to practice against my own teammates and I learned how to win a positional battle. When I got on the field, the guy I was looking at, he might have been bigger, he might have looked stronger, they might have said on the tape he was faster, they might have said on the scouting report he was more agile and better, but something snapped on the inside when they called to play. I would get down into my linebacker stance, and all of a sudden I would have flashbacks of me sacking the quarterback in practice. I'd have flashbacks of me stripping the ball. I've had flashbacks of me blowing up the play, and next thing I know, I would go into tunnel vision. They snapped the ball and this big brute would be on his back, and I would be in the backfield raising havoc, kicking out players, knocking out quarterbacks, stripping balls. Why? It's because I've been there before, and I'm here to tell some of you that are looking at some giants that you may think are too big in your life. I'm here to tell you, shake off that fear because you've been there before. You have beat the bear, you have killed the lion, and I'm here to tell you tonight, you can win this battle, you can win this fight, because on training camp you learn how to win on the field, you learn how to win in practice. You don't wait till the day of the fight to learn how to win, but you've been winning. I'm just here to remind you, the last thing I want to tell you is David recounted to Saul his personal testimony. He had to let Saul know who he was looking at. He had to let Saul know who he was dealing with. And I'm here to tell some of you, your first order of business in training camp is you got to speak to some blockades and let them know who you're dealing with. You got to speak to some supervisors and let them know who you're dealing with. You got to speak to some no's and let them know who you're dealing with. Some no's will turn into yeses if you just recount your testimony. Some open, closed doors will open if you remind them who you are. I'm here to tell you, you've had so much time on the field of life that you've been through too much to throw the towel in now. You've been through too much to give up now. You've been through too much to let go now. I'm here under the authority of heaven to tell somebody you need to dig into your practice time. You need to dig into your practice field, and you need to kill a lie and kill a devil. That's all a devil is. He's a lie. And some of you have been letting lies run rampant in your life. Lies run rampant in your house. Lies run rampant in your marriage. Lies run rampant in your possibility. Lies always one rapping in your prayer. But I'm telling you, heaven is saying it's time to expose a giant and speak truth to the lie. The truth of the matter is, I killed your granddaddy 2 weeks ago. I killed your daddy last week. And the only reason why I'm here now is because God has assigned me to kill you too. Am I speaking to anybody in this house that can say, I am a giant killer? Yes, 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 yes. It's time to win. It's time to win in the field. You may got your eyes on the palace, but I got my mouth set for the field. I'm going to get everything out of my process. I'm going to get everything out of my practice. I'm going to get everything out of my training, because I will win on the field. Do I have any winners with determination? Any winners with a fight in their heart? Any winners that got agile feet, hostile appetites, and mindsets, willing to win on the field, willing to win in their process, willing to win while they're becoming, willing to win while they're growing, shouting, I am a winner. I am a winner. I am a winner. I'm trying to let it go, but I am a winner. I feel the Spirit of the Lord stirring in me, saying, Davis, it's time to win on the field. Davis, it's time to win the battle of camp. Davis, it's time to win in your mind. Davis, it's time to win in your expectation. Davis, it's time to win in strategy. Davis, it's trying to win with what you put your hands to. I'm here to prophesy. There's somebody watching tonight. There's somebody in this house and tell you it's time to win on the field. Yes, 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 yes. You forgot that bear tried to kill you, but you killed it. You forgot that the lion, the king of the jungle, came after you and you ripped its head off. Why would you be afraid to step to this uncircumcised Philistine that's in front of you? I decree and declare that you about to whip a devil and knock him upside his head and give him a beating that he never expected. Do I have any winners today? Oh. And I love the way it ended. Because Saul says to David, go. I'm done. And the Lord be with you. I believe David just looked at him and probably just said, thank you very much. But he was already with me. That's why I came to you. I came to you to let you know the Lord was with you, Saul. That's why he sent you a David. And for some of us, I'm preaching to myself now, that wanted to curse your process. You wanted to curse the days of your field. You wanted to curse the service you were serving. You wanted to curse the situations you find yourself in. I I'm here to tell you what you didn't realize about yourself is when Saul looked at you and said, go with God, be blessed with God. You look back at Saul and said, he already has. That's why I'm here, because my sign of being in your presence is for me to let you know that God is with you, Saul, because you couldn't take the giant. You couldn't take the battle. You couldn't take the fight. So he sent me to do it for you. And all it is extra training under my belt. The Lord has allowed some of you in this place to fight off somebody else's battle because it was training for you. It was therapy for you. It was equipping you. You didn't fought off so many demons. Yeah, you didn't pray for 50 people. You may have prayed for 100 people. You may have loved somebody across the street. You were fighting off their dark days, fighting off their evil days, fighting off the times they couldn't get it together. All the while, you did not realize that the reason you were sent there is for them to know that because of you, the Lord is with me. I'm here to just leave you with those words right there. David, the Lord is with you. Tawan, the Lord is with you. D, the Lord is with you. Pastor Jen, the Lord is with you. Mama, the Lord is with you. Sonia, the Lord is with you. I dare you to look at your neighbor and just say, the Lord is with you. He's with you. He's with you. And with this, you learn how to win on the field. David started off his legacy in a field. Yeah, they sang the song, Saul has saved his thousands. But David has killed his tens of thousands. But let me let you know, that was from a field perspective. The legend of David started taking out of the giant in the field. I'm asking you now, because for many of us, we get to spaces and times in our life that are crucial, and we don't know how to connect the dots from the spaces and times where we've been. And the reason why David, again, was so confident against a giant that may have been bigger, because it represented an enemy that he had already dealt with. And some of you are taking L's in your life against things that you've already beaten in your life. And until you come into the reality to connect the dots and be able to attach your past to your present, you'll continue to lose. But if you look at your field, every day is the Super Bowl. That's why I gave that story. If you look at your field, every day as the game that can make or break it all, you'll learn how to win in the field so that you can just sit on the throne. Your battles are fought in the valley. Your place of rest is in your seat. The problem is, for most of us, we've never fought in the valley. So purpose shows up on your doorstep and opportunity, and you go through the door fighting. And there's no fight. You show up with defenses, and there's no need to be defensive. You show up with trauma of what people have taken you through in other seasons of your life, and that trauma is not in the throne room that has your name on it. Why? It's because you didn't get your fight out your system. And you're now turning the throne room into a dirty field. place that is supposed to be a place of blessing, your space of promise. You're supposed to be at this space adorned in your kingly garments and sitting and resting in the place God has made for you. You come in with battle armor, looking for a fight in a place where there is none. So what we do is we tear up our promise because we fight everybody and everything connected to it. We tear up our special places that God has prepared for us because we're not prepared to recognize when we've arrived. So instead of resting, you're screaming. And instead of feasting, you're killing. It's because you skipped the field. And I just want to speak over every last one of you before I turn this mic over to Pastor Jennifer. Don't you let another day go by where you're focused on the next 5 years of your life, 10 years of your life, 15 years of your life, and you let today walk by. Every day you need to win. Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Online, every day you need to win. There's no such thing as I'm just going through the day so I can get to tomorrow. Every day I'm determined I am going to win. I might be hopping when I get into bed. I might need a salt bath. I might need to get in the ice bath because I might be sore. I might have Charlie horses. I might have stretched tendons. I might have a bruised Achilles. I might have a ruptured shoulder. I may have some injuries, but I'm going to win. I might need some rehab, but I'm going to win. I might need to be stretched out on a table. I might be in pain right now, but I'm going to be in pain winning. I'm not going to be in pain losing. I'm not going to be in pain wasting my time. I'm not going to be going through and have nothing to show for it. I will win at all costs on the field of my life. Because when it's time for me to reign on that throne, I'm going to stand, and I'm going to stand tall. I speak this blessing over you, that over these next few months, you learn how to condition your life, condition your mind, condition your heart and your spirit to win on the field of your life. In Jesus' name.